Okay, so I want to talk briefly about some research that is following our efforts to increase responsibility and improve dog management in Morocco to ultimately try and protect the IUCN Red Data Barbary Macaque. Historically, local government officials have tried unsuccessfully to control the dog population with little or no communication with inhabitants. They use indiscriminate methods such as shooting or poisoning because the dog population that's seen in the forest is assumed to be feral. Early assessment by ourselves found that the dog population were in the main owned but free-ranging. Their owners are extremely poor. They don't have the means to support the dogs they keep. They keep far too many dogs. And as a result, their dogs are underfed, out of control, and are always searching for food, either within their villages or out in the forest, which has implications for livestock, but also the wildlife too. So we initiated a free rabies vaccination programme, which was supported by the local government and other stakeholders there. It gave us an opportunity to offer inhabitants something that would encourage acceptance of our presence there, but also give us an opportunity to spread some important information. So, vaccinated dogs were given coloured collars, which corresponded to the villages they originated from, and it was hoped these collars would help owners identify that dogs were owned when they were seen loose in the forest. While we were doing the vaccinations, we also discussed sterilisation of animals with owners, not just their dogs, but about why they sterilised some animals but not others. If they thought unsterilised dogs were more difficult to work at times, and if they thought it might benefit their dogs to be sterilised. Out of 105 homes, only one owner currently was found to be sterilising their male puppies. So 2 years later, I looked at outcomes. So the vaccination programme achieved a 70 to 80% coverage, which is well above what's required to reduce rabies incidents. And using semi-structured interviews, I interviewed 8 shepherds from 2 of the villages. Interviews indicated that shepherds were now sterilising their male dogs. Fewer dogs were also being kept, so when they died, they were not being replaced. And fewer dogs were now accompanying the goats to the forest. Shepherds had also stopped describing attacks made on livestock. They stopped blaming it on feral dogs, and instead started describing dogs owned by bad owners, irresponsible owners, or dogs that they felt were being abandoned at a local pilgrimage site. So it appears that the programme had been successful in communicating to dog owners that dogs loose in the forest were owned, but it also must have stimulated some discussions about where the source of unknown dogs was coming from. So thematic analysis allowed categorisation of the data, which indicated social capital was primarily driving attitudinal and behavioural changes. Social capital can form from reciprocal relationships, where interpersonal connections are important in motivating individuals either within their own networks or across groups. So we found that there were various types of social capital at play. So community social capital came via the rabies vaccinations, and shepherds showing that they'd assimilated a lot of information, and even a shepherd that had missed the vaccination programme said the programme had helped him understand rabies better. So important information was getting disseminated. Tacit social capital came via the use of coloured collars. We knew making owners realise that actually dogs that were causing issues were owned was kind of very controversial information. We didn't want people to feel under scrutiny from us or pressure from us. We wanted them to make that leap themselves, so the collars provided an indicator. Owners who were engaged in the programme as well felt personal social capital, so the collars also acted as an advert of responsibility. These people had been good, they'd got their dogs vaccinated. And inhabitants, because they were so engaged with the programme, felt social inclusion. These guys are poor, they're uneducated, and are usually completely ignored in decision-making processes. So to be involved in the programme increase their feelings of ownership of the programme, but also inclusion. And the community were able to find a solution towards an achievable goal. So with some changing of social norms, castration suddenly became more acceptable. So some further interviews with other villagers would be useful to see how far that information has been disseminated throughout the villages within the research area, but also beyond. And I also want to revisit the villages to run workshops into basic dog training to see whether the concept of responsibility can assist in the protection of wildlife from dogs. Although, because people are keeping fewer dogs now, and have to support fewer dogs, I'm hoping that those dogs will have a better diet, and this may assist in reducing their hunting activity in the forest anyway. And there you go, there's our references. Thank you very much.